Today I'm making a sawdust brick press. My wife and I do some camping on occasion, and I produce a significant amount of sawdust. And now, in the past, I've always thrown my sawdust in the backyard and let it rot away. But the piles are getting rather large, and it'd be nice to have something that we can use for campfires in the camping world. So this is what I'm doing. What I have done is I got 2 pieces of plywood measuring 14 inches long and 3 3/4 inches wide, and I've beveled both sides on these 2 pieces here, and I've also back beveled to allow room for the hinge pin to be there. And then I have a piece that is beveled on one side and flat on the other side, and it is 14 inches long and 3 1/4 inches wide. And then a 4th piece is 14 inches long, 3 7/8 inches wide, and it's beveled on one side. And I also have holes countersunk for screws to hold together. The measurements I used are based off of the measurement of a piece of it really is 2 5/8 by 2 5/8 actual width wood that's 9 3/4 inches long, and this was from an old bed frame, and this is some scrap left over from that. The base is going to be 5 inches square. And then there's going to be 2 pieces here. One is these are both 2 3/4 inches square, and one is going to sit on top of the base, and then one is going to be attached to the plunge to help compress the sawdust. I have 6 hinges from an old bifold louver doors, closet doors, and then I'm going to use these number 6 by 1 inch screws. Now what's going to happen is they're going to poke through the wood. Once they're attached, I'm going to use a angle grinder, and I'm going to grind them flush, and that will do the trick, I'm thinking. We had a little bit of a hiccup, and I think we've recovered nicely. I have made the tube for mashing the wood fibers, and if you'll notice, the hinges are different. This is what I had in stock. Those door hinges were too shallow, and they were going into the bevel, so I had to do something a little bit more substantial. And these will do nicely. I don't even remember where I got the darn things from. Got the screws in right here, and it folds up nicely into a square tube. I will drive the screws in a moment. Also, I've got a base, and I went ahead and do 2 screws as well, because what the heck, woodworkers are over engineers. And then I got the masher block and another base for the pusher, and the idea is this is going to sit over this like that, all right? And then we fill this up with sawdust, and then using a clamp, you just kind of mash that sawdust down as hard as you can, release it, and then open it up and set it to dry for what I read was 14 days. Now what I have here is the sawdust water mixture, and I'm not really sure how much water you're supposed to add, but that seems like that's going to be more than plenty, and we'll give this a shot. this is definitely not a project to do on the workbench. I should have thought better of that. I have no idea if I've pressed enough. There's no way to know until I take it apart. So I'm going to just do that right now, and we'll see how this first brick comes out. You know, this might just be a trial and error situation. Okay, so we have 2 blocks here made out of sawdust. They look rather fragile, but they're still wet, so it's possible that they will they'll solidify as they dry. We'll see. The video I saw concerning these said they had to dry for something like 14 days, and so this is day 1. And in roughly 14 days we will continue this video, and we may even try to light one on fire, see what happens. So my takeaway so far with this entire process is this little jig does work so far. It's a bit of a pain in the butt. I don't know if it's even really worth it. I don't remember how much those fire logs at the home centers cost. I don't remember them being terribly expensive, but if I'm going to be doing all my sawdust from the shop this way, that would be basically a day's worth of work each time I do it. So we'll see. Let's see how these dry, and then I will reserve full judgment for them. It has been 3 days since I did this, and the blocks are still rather moist. They've been sitting in a dehumidified room. We haven't had any sunshine, so I could put them out in the sun. Some of the crumbles have turned to powder. They're kind of spongy. Maybe I did this wrong, so let me give several more days and we'll see how it goes. So it's been another 7 days since my last little clip here, and these have been sitting in my shop drying. The outside at least is pretty dry. They're holding together nicely. Let's see what happens if I break them apart. They're rather fragile. They're crumbling. Let's see if I can break this in half. Oh, it breaks nicely. There's a little bit of moisture in the very center. They're holding their shape, but they don't take much to crumble up. So here's, I take, see, it's not holding together very well. I saw another article where I might have done this incorrectly. So one article said that you're supposed to soak the wood for half an hour, and I don't know, maybe I try it again, see what happens. All right, this one is 3 inches by 3 inches and just shy of 3 inches tall. Let's see what it does. Put it in this little Dutch oven. It shouldn't hurt the Dutch oven to burn something, but let's see how well it starts. It threatened to light real easy. Let's see here. it is possible that the wood was not completely dry yet, but all it wanted to do is smolder. So I might try it again. We'll see. I'm going to let these dry for another week or so and then try it again. I suspect these would be okay for adding to an already established fire, but concern I have is how fragile they are. Will they survive a ride in the back of the truck to a campground? I guess that remains to be seen for another video. It has been yet another week, and these sawdust logs have dried even further. They're not as fragile. Whoa, I guess they are. Look at that. They do kind of hold together, but they don't take any pressure at all. I mean, literally, I just barely put any pressure on these at all. It just crumbles. But I don't know. I think the trick will be, since it's going to be for a campfire and there'll be a certain amount of traveling involved, I think the trick will be wrapping these in paper or something. We'll see. I will do another video at the campfire, most likely. The blocks survived the trip pretty well, actually. I'm pretty surprised. We had some bumps on the way, but they survived. So here we go. We're going to give it a test in the fire. First I got to light a fire and then we'll put them in. So it's burning, and nice and slowly, so it might be worthwhile to continue doing this. We'll see. Good. Finally, after every woodworking project, you should always count your fingers. You end with 10. Good job.